I managed to get my hands on a Callaway Elyte mini driver in 11.5. I found the 13.5 degree mini driver to just be a little bit too spinny and a little bit too high, and the ball didn't quite go forward enough. So I want to see if the 11.5 meets my expectations. So I'm going to put these all on the same settings after I've dropped the weight on the floor. So I'm going to put these on the same settings. So I've got the 13.5 to start with. I've got the weight in the toe, just in the toe there, because I tend to move the ball to the left hand side a little bit too much. I've got it on -1 neutral, again, so I'm trying to bring that 13.5 flight down. And I've got an interesting shaft because you can get these with no upcharge, but it is the Denali in a 60 gram TX. Again, no upcharge, but you do need to custom order. So I want to fire a couple of these up here in the 13.5 degree head, just to see how far up it gets. And what sort of flight and spin and all that fun stuff we get. I'm not offended by that shot at all. It's got a bit of overdraw on it. I did think that the shaft and the weight settings would kind of hold that off a little bit. So there is a bit of excess draw there. There we go. Albeit behind a tree for the next shot. Decent carry. So the height there was 98 feet. I would like to have that lower. Oh, just that little bit of left to right variance. Finishing at 287 though, it's not bad. So we're getting similar numbers to what I get with my PXG mini driver, which is very nice. Now that was really horribly struck off the heel. The heel will encourage a bit of fade spin, so I'm kind of getting that from the strike. But speeds are around the 110 mile an hour mark, club head speed. I normally get about 115 with a driver. Ooh, balances off a little bit. So we've got a nice little grouping there. What do I get from less loft? Do this red and call it low. So same golf ball. Oh, that looks nicer to my eye. But I've been looking for less loft, to be fair. Okay, similar sort of shape. Slightly more yardage. 95 feet of peak height. Now for a mini driver, I want to be able to launch this thing into the wind without trying to keep it down too much. Yeah, nice. And I suppose in my mind, I don't have to try as hard to keep it down because we've got 2 degrees less loft. Oh, 106 peak height. It does feel more accurate. Now it could be that I look down at that loft and then I feel like I need to manipulate it. I feel like I need to like de-loft it somehow through impact. And then with the 11.5, it just looks a little bit cleaner. It doesn't look like I need to take anything off it. It feels like it's just already where I want it to be. Just hugging that left hand side. It's got a little bit more in it because it's a different club. But how much does it change? How much does it vary from that one loft, 13.5 to 11.5? So if I have a look at the raw numbers here, I've got 266 against 270. I've got a landing angle of 40.1 degrees against 41.1, so 1 degree steeper in this pool of data. I've got peak height of 97 in the 13.5 degree mini driver against 101 in the 11.5. Now in theory, this should go lower because it's less lofted. Maybe because of the visuals looking behind the ball on this, I'm trying to get it down. With the visuals on this, I'm not trying to get it down, if that makes any sense. But I'm averaging 4.5 yards left against 9 yards left, so that's mostly me. But I've got a slightly bigger dispersion ring in the green, which is the 13.5. And I've got a slightly smaller dispersion ring in the low one, with red one, which is 11.5 degrees. I've got a little bit more ball speed out of it, and I've got a little bit more spin. Lower launch, higher spin. Maybe I could play around with the weight in the bottom of it, but they both had the same weight in the front of the face. But yeah, 270 against 266 hasn't quite changed as much as I thought it would. I was kind of hoping for like half a club's worth of distance from that 2-degree change in head. So if I'd have bought the 13.5 degree and I didn't want to spend the money on buying an 11.5 degree instead to replace it, I'm not far off with the 13.5 on the -1 setting. I haven't astronomically gained loads of difference in getting the 11.5, so it's a bit unnecessary. But if I was looking to replace the driver and take the driver out completely and go for one of these, I'd go 11.5 because I'm closer to what a normal driver is. If I'm looking to have it as an alternative, I'd go 13.5, or even if I'm looking to replace the 3-wood, I'd go 13.5 to replace that because it might be a little bit easier off the deck. But have you used one? Have you got one? What have you got in your golf bag? See you on the next video.